Imagine yourself taking a casual evening stroll through the ridiculously tall grass exactly 100,000 years ago. The sun is painting a lovely, albeit final, sunset across the horizon. Suddenly, you hear an ominous rustling sound directly behind you. You spin around rather quickly, only to lock eyes with two glowing yellow orbs reflecting the very last rays of daylight. Confronting you is a prehistoric cave lion, a colossal beast easily twice the size of any modern lion roaming the earth today. We are talking about 700 pounds of pure, unadulterated muscle, razor-sharp claws, and bone-crushing teeth. And unfortunately, it is staring right at you with hungry anticipation. You possess absolutely no gun, no pocket knife, nor even a mildly sharp stick. Your teeth are laughably flat, your fingernails are entirely useless in a brawl, and you definitely cannot outrun or outclimb this apex predator. Fighting it is utterly out of the question. So, how on earth are you still here reading this? How did our remarkably fragile ancestors manage to survive when literally everything on planet Earth was seemingly custom designed to brutally murder them? Let us begin by examining what exactly was hunting us back then. In the year 1924, a gentleman named Raymond Dart unearthed a fascinating skull in South Africa that completely shattered our self-absorbed human worldview. This skull belonged to a tiny child, an early human ancestor who was merely 3 years old. Cruelly punctured directly through the eye sockets were two clean, unmistakable holes, perfectly spaced to match the terrifying canine teeth of a prehistoric leopard. This poor child was not the victim of a tragic playground accident. This child was actively hunted as prey. For millions of agonizing years, humans were not the grand, spear-wielding hunters of the savannah. We were the hunted. And the ravenous predators we constantly faced were not just mildly dangerous. They were highly specialized, apex-killing machines that had spent millions of evolutionary years perfecting the art of hunting large, juicy mammals. Take, for instance, the legendary saber-toothed cat, Smilodon fatalis. This beast possessed terrifying 11-inch canines, weighed a whopping 600 pounds, and was built like a literal biological tank with a bite force specifically engineered to puncture the thick throats of prehistoric bison and camels. It did not bother with exhausting chases. It was an absolute master of the ambush. It would wait patiently in the tall grass or near scarce water sources, and then suddenly explode outward at a staggering 30 miles per hour. Just one swift bite to your neck, and your existential journey was abruptly over. And this cat was certainly not acting alone in the prehistoric horror show. Enter the short-faced bear, Arctis simus, the single largest mammalian land predator to ever stalk North America. Standing a towering 12 feet tall on its hind legs and weighing a massive 2,000 pounds, this monster possessed long, athletic legs built specifically for brutal, high-endurance running. While most modern bears are quite opportunistic, happily munching on sweet berries and flopping fish, the short-faced bear was an uncompromising hypercarnivore. It ate meat, exclusively meat, and it could sprint at an astonishing 40 miles per hour. If it so much as glanced in your general direction, you were, for all practical purposes, already dead. Then, of course, we had the lovely cave hyenas, known scientifically as Craudacutispa. These beasts were significantly larger and vastly stronger than modern hyenas, boasting a terrifying bite force of 1,100 pounds per square inch. For a bit of humiliating context, your own modern human bite is a pathetic 162 pounds per square inch. A cave hyena could effortlessly crush thick bones just to savor the rich marrow hidden inside. Worse still, they hunted in highly organized, relentless packs of 20 or more individuals, and they preferred to do their hunting at night, precisely when early humans could barely see 2 inches in front of their faces. Meanwhile, terrifying dire wolves roamed the landscape in formidable packs of 30. Cave lions, 25% larger than today's African lions, also hunted in coordinated groups. Add to this nightmare list the lightning-fast giant cheetahs, lethal scimitar cats, and the horrifying terror birds of South America that stood an imposing 10 feet tall with massive, curved beaks designed to easily shatter human skulls. Virtually everywhere our ancestors ventured, something incredibly large and hungry was actively trying to consume them. And here is the most embarrassing part. We possessed absolutely nothing to defend ourselves. Consider the chimpanzee, our closest living genetic relative. A chimpanzee is roughly 3 times stronger than a fully grown adult human. Chimps have sharp, respectable fangs. They can effortlessly scale a 30-foot tree in a matter of seconds, and yet, they still get routinely slaughtered by leopards. We, on the other hand, were significantly slower than chimps, noticeably weaker than chimps, and practically blind in the dark. We could not smell approaching predators from a safe distance, and our sense of hearing was thoroughly mediocre. To make matters worse, we walked completely upright, which made us highly visible beacons from miles away. And our offspring? Our babies screamed constantly, inviting every predator in the area to dinner, and could not even walk on their own for an entire year. By every logical biological standard, humanity should have gone completely extinct within 100,000 years. But miraculously, we did not. Instead, they did. Every single terrifying predator I just listed is now completely extinct, and we are still here, dominating the globe. So what exactly happened to turn the tide? Our very first game-changing weapon was the discovery of fire. Deep inside the ancient Wonderwork cave in South Africa, brilliant archaeologists chemistry tested and unearthed definitive evidence of controlled fire dating back a whopping 1 million years. They found charred bones, thick layers of ancient ash, and primitive hearths. Fire completely rewrote the rules of survival. A simple campfire establishes a safety zone roughly 30 feet in diameter. Within that glowing circle, wild predators will absolutely not enter. Fear of fire is hardwired deep into their primordial brains. Even to this day, modern lions in Africa will actively avoid a burning flame. This miraculous fire provided us with bright light when we were otherwise helpless in the dark, and offered cozy warmth in harsh, freezing climates that our hairless, fragile bodies were never designed to withstand. But most importantly of all, this crackling fire gave us the invaluable gift of time. Before we mastered fire, the moment the sun dipped below the horizon, you immediately scrambled to find any cramped shelter and remained completely, breathlessly still until the morning light. After fire, you suddenly had 3 to 4 extra glorious hours of nightly leisure every single night. This wasn't just idle time to twiddle your thumbs. It was precious, uninterrupted time to craft sharper tools, hatch devious plans, and engage in the earliest forms of late-night gossip. And fire, bless its warm and glowing heart, bestowed upon us another miraculous gift. It let us cook. Cooking our food was an absolute game-changer. You see, cooked meat packed a far punchier caloric wallop and was delightfully easier on our fragile digestive tracts. These bonus calories meant our bodies could finally afford to fuel and grow luxuriously larger brains. And as we all know, bigger brains naturally meant we became significantly better at solving life's pesky problems. But fire alone didn't magically save us from becoming some beast's midnight snack. Our second secret weapon was sheer, stubborn endurance. Let's be honest, humans are absolutely pathetic sprinters. A hungry saber-toothed tiger could casually hit 30 miles per hour in a mere 3 seconds, leaving us eating its dust. We, on the other hand, embarrassingly top out at about 28 miles per hour, and even then only for a painfully short, gasping distance. But here is the magnificent trick that no other fancy predator could pull off. We could run for hours on end. Enter the grueling art of persistence hunting. You don't frantically chase an animal at breakneck speed. Instead, you relentlessly track it at a steady, annoying jog, just fast enough to keep the poor beast constantly on the move. You stubbornly shadow it for 3, 4, or even 6 grueling hours. The bewildered animal runs, stops to catch its breath, dangerously overheats, and runs again. Crucially, it cannot sweat through its furry hide the way we can, and it absolutely cannot cool down while in motion. Eventually, the exhausted creature literally collapses from heat stroke, at which point you casually walk right up and finish it off with a well-aimed rock. Humans are the absolute only species on Earth capable of this bizarrely effective marathon of doom. And this incredible stamina is what powered our hunts and firmly secured our survival. Our third weapon was a little thing called pattern recognition, as our rapidly evolving brains became hopelessly obsessed with finding patterns everywhere. A snapped twig? Clearly, some creature walked right here. A patch of freshly disturbed dirt? Something was digging. Even the specific shape of a footprint told our ancestors exactly what kind of animal had passed by, how ridiculously large it was, and precisely how many hours ago it strolled through. Naturally, we soon started tracking deadly predators with the exact same nosy precision we used for our prey. We meticulously memorized their daily schedules like overzealous stalkers. We learned that saber-tooths prefer to hunt near watering holes at dusk, that cave lions absolutely despise campfires, and that terrifying short-faced bears are grumpily solitary and highly territorial. We keenly observed, we remembered, and we taught each other everything. With every passing generation, this survival database beautifully compounded. Yet, the ultimate weapon, the one that truly actually kept us from going extinct, was something much simpler: each other. Back in 2001, clever archaeologists unearthed a fascinating skeleton in Deaney, Georgia, dating back a whopping 1.8 million years. It belonged to an elderly human ancestor who had completely lost all of their teeth years before they finally kicked the bucket. Now, having no teeth back then meant you couldn't chew tough meat or process raw, fibrous food. Yet, this incredibly toothless individual managed to survive for years after losing their teeth. How? Well, someone was kindly feeding them, probably chewing their food beforehand, or patiently cooking it until it was soft enough to swallow. No self-respecting predator does this. An elderly lion with no teeth quickly starves and dies. A human with no teeth gets pampered and taken care of. Similarly, in the dark depths of Shanidar Cave in Iraq, researchers stumbled upon a Neanderthal skeleton from some 60,000 years ago. This poor fellow had a healed but badly broken arm, was completely blind in one eye, and suffered from quite severe arthritis. Yet, he lived to the ripe old age of about 40. He absolutely couldn't hunt, and he certainly couldn't fight off threats, but his loyal group stubbornly kept him alive anyway. This deep empathy is what truly separated us. We didn't just cooperate, we genuinely cared. And we didn't just hunt in chaotic groups, we strategized like master tacticians. Wolves, for example, hunt in packs, but that is merely raw, unthinking instinct. Humans, however, hunt in organized packs with highly specialized, designated roles. You cunningly drive the terrified animal toward a steep cliff, while your buddies wait patiently at the bottom clutching sharp spears, effectively cutting off any potential escape route. We utilized the magic of language to frantically whisper complex, coordinated plans. Even better, we threw deadly spears from a safe, comfortable distance, an unfair tactic that absolutely no wild predator could possibly defend against. Just 5 scrawny humans equipped with sharp spears and a solid plan could easily bring down a ferocious saber-tooth. And oh boy did we ever. Around 400,000 years ago, the famous shunning spears were carefully crafted in Germany. These wooden throwing spears were beautifully aerodynamic, perfectly balanced, and custom designed to lethally strike from 30 feet away. Suddenly, we completely stopped running away. Instead, we started hunting them down. And then, around 50,000 years ago, a massive shift occurred. Restless humans migrated out of Africa, boldly invading Europe, Asia, Australia, and the Americas. And practically everywhere we set foot, the local megapa started mysteriously disappearing. Saber-tooths officially went extinct 10,000 years ago. Cave lions vanished 14,000 years ago. Giant short-faced bears faded away 11,000 years ago. Woolly mammoths, colossal giant sloths, and terrifying terror birds, all poof, gone. Now, scientists love to debate exactly how much humans contributed to this massive extinction spree versus natural climate change, but the grim pattern is absolutely undeniable. On every single continent we successfully reached, the large, scary predators vanished within a mere few thousand years. We didn't just manage to survive them, we completely outlasted them, utterly outthought them, and systematically eliminated them from the face of the earth. Because here is the ultimate, hilarious truth. Evolution generously gave every other predator one singular, fantastic advantage: speed, strength, lethal venom, or sneaky camouflage. But evolution, in a stroke of genius, gave humans sheer adaptability. We could never outrun a ridiculously fast, short-faced bear, so we stood far away and pelted it with heavy rocks. We couldn't outbite a cackling cave hyena, so we organized into loud groups and surrounded it, We were utterly blind in the dark compared to a cave lion, so we casually tamed fire and turned night into cozy day. Every embarrassing biological weakness forced us to frantically invent a brilliant solution. And those handy solutions compounded beautifully over thousands of generations until we transformed into something no wild predator could ever evolve to fight. For 2 million long years, we were basically delicious, helpless prey. We hid nervously in tall trees. We ran frantically from spooky shadows. We tragically lost our precious children to hungry leopards and could do absolutely nothing but grieve. But we possessed one sneaky superpower that no beast had. We could actually learn from our dumb mistakes and painstakingly teach the next generation not to repeat them. And, over time, that was miraculously enough.